Ready. Okay, understand that when you guys were doing area, you were working with two-dimensional shapes. When we do volume, everybody look up here. This is called a rectangular prism. And volume is about how much space the object takes up. In this case, the prism. So we're going to use volume, or V equals length times width times height. It's just like area. You're going to substitute in, but now you're substituting in 3 numbers to multiply. So let's do prism 1 together. Formula first. Remember that you can write it as LWH, because variables, when they don't have a symbol next to them, means to multiply. It doesn't matter what you're calling length, the width, or the height in the prism, as long as you're using 3 different numbers. Holding the prism like this, if you look at my model here, I like to call the longer side on the bottom the length. So we'll call that 10. The shorter side on the bottom is the 4. And height's always up and down, which is your 6. Again, it doesn't matter. You could put it in any order and you'll still be okay. That's the multiplication rule called what property? Commutative property of multiplication. And then 10 times 4 times 6, everybody. Can you do that in your head? You should be able to. Pate, what do you got?
240.
And who knows, what units do you use for volume? It's no longer square inches or square units. What is it, Evan?
It's inches cubed.
Right, inches cubed, which is in this case inches because our sides are in inches, with a little 3. The way I tell my students, the easiest way to remember, when you did area, how many sides did you multiply? 2, right? That's why it's square or gets that little superscript 2. When you do volume, how many sides are you multiplying?
3.
That's why it gets a little 3. And then when you do perimeter, you're not multiplying any sides. You're adding so it doesn't get any superscript. It's just the units all by themselves. All right? Okay, everybody try Prism 2 on your own, and I'll do a walkthrough and see if you get it right. But don't go ahead, all right? Wait for me. All right, so length, width, height, 8 times 5 times 12. And Nick, what'd you get? How much, bud? Don't know. Are you sure you have it and you just didn't write? You can't see that middle number?
480.
Yeah, I had it because when I walked around, I thought you had it. 480 cubic inches, good. Which prism holds more cubes? Katie Malone?
Prism 2.
How much more?
240 more, or half more.
You could say 240 more or twice as much. Because 480 is twice 240. All good. All right. Okay, I want to show you something with, I'm going to actually go to the next page, and we're a little tight on time, but I want to show you one with a fraction. Skip A. Go to exercise 1-3. And all I want you to do for this right now is write the formula and substitute your fractions in, but don't do anything else. Is everybody ready and up to this point? Okay, I have a question for you. Would you be interested in knowing how to multiply fractions on the calculator?
Yeah.
I'll teach it to you. I'll teach it to you. But it does involve quite a bit of button pushing, and if it confuses you, then you would have to go back. Listen, you'd have to go back to the way that I showed you, and that's changing these into improper fractions and multiplying and then changing it back into a mixed number. So what I've done is I've opened up a big large calculator to show you what to do. Like I said, if this confuses you, and it makes more work than you need to, and you get panicky over it, then go back to the old way. We'll do this together. Starting with your calculator, clear everything out, and I'm going to do this along with you to make sure I see what you're seeing on your end. Okay. Now you got to pay very close attention, because if you do the buttons in a different way or out of sequence, you're going to get something called syntax error. When you get syntax error, that means you've typed something in incorrectly and it's not yet start over from the beginning. Okay, what's our first mixed number? Dan?
5 1/3.
Okay, ready? On your calculator, push 5.
5.
Now here comes the key number, or the key button. There's a button here, up here, that has an A and then a B and a /C. That's showing you that the next number that you're going to input is going to be a fraction. So you're going to push this once. And I'm going to do the same thing on my calculator. Okay? And then it's numerator of our mixed number, which is 1. Punch 1. Then that fraction button again. And then 3. Okay? Now on your calculator, this is what it should look like on the screen. It should have a 5, a little L, like backwards, a 1. It should look like that. Do you have that? Okay. That means your first number is entered correctly. Now, we're going to multiply that by 2/3. Push times. Okay? Now, this is where it gets a little confusing. There's no mix. This is not a mixed number. It's a fraction, 2/3, right? So it's technically 0 and 2/3. So you've got to punch in now 0. Then the fraction button. Then 2 for 2/3. Then the fraction button again. And then 3. And then if you've done everything right, it looks like this. Times 0. Does it look like that? Times again. And now we're going to enter the last number. 1. Fraction button. 1 again for that 1/3. Fraction button. And 3. And then hit equals. And if you got a number, tell me what you got. It says 4, right? 4. And then it says U, right? Disregard the U. And then what?
Oh, 27.
20. 27. That's our answer. And that is cubic centimeters. Okay? If it's confusing for you, you're going to have to go back to the old way, but you'll have more time to practice it on Monday. Okay? All right, I need your calculators, and I need you to pack up because we're done.